What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today we'll be doing a technical analysis breakdown for strategy B with the ticker symbol MSTR. I will first be going over what I see in the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please trade at your own risk. So I'm wearing my Grant Cardone hat 10X. There's a cool story behind this. They ran out of the hats um, of the type that I wanted, and they sent me an email saying we have one, but it's signed by Grant Cardone. I was like, oh, isn't that one better? So they just sent me that one. So this one actually is signed by Grant Cardone. It's by there's a Sharpie on the bill of the hat. So I think this is a pretty cool hat. I don't wear it too often, but I'm not really a huge fan. I think I like his brother more, Gary Cardone. But I did listen to his audiobook 10X. So anyway, let's take a look at MSTR. Hopefully you guys are having a good day. And even though MSTR was down a significant amount, which was slightly, expected. Let's go over the chart right now. So here we have the daily chart down about almost 7.5%. And we did break through that 360 level. That was very strong support. It was the obvious level historically. Price has reversed off of it before, but it was looking like we were going to see a break of it, and I'll go over the reasons why. So let's just go over like what happened for MSTR. Like, why is it even dropping down lower? Well, we had this impulse right here, so we had one large leg up. If you clone this arrow to the bottom of the correction, this was the start of the second leg. So this is what you would be seeing on the right side of the chart. You would be expecting price to come back up to the prior all-time high. That is the measured target. We had a large move up, a small correction, show signs of strength, and then you would expect price to come back up to the prior high, maybe to 555, 556. So it looks like it was on its way. You can see that it was on its way. It was on its way. So we're basically back testing this. It was on its way. It was on its way. And then boom, hit like 455, 460 area, started struggling, and then it started selling off. Okay, not a big deal because, there's a upward, trend line in play here. Maybe we come back to the trend line and then we bounce from it. So maybe you would have something like this on the chart at the time. So you're like, okay, let me see if I get a bounce here. So you kind of give it the benefit of the doubt. This is just the first attempt to reach the measured target right here. Generally, you get 2 attempts. So sometimes you'll see another bounce up. So when that didn't happen, that's not a good sign. And we sold off pretty sharply. So then we came to the 360 level or near it. And then we're like, okay, well, maybe we'll still make that second up higher from here, even though that's not ideal. But if we get up higher from here, that's still okay, right? And I'll be like, yes, that's true. We have one attempt here, failed. Second attempt could begin at lower prices because it has not invalidated the measurement target. And then we gave it the benefit of the doubt again, and then boom, it made a lower high. It can't even get up to the prior high. It can't even come back to retest this trend line. So, and then it sold off again. So that at that point is game over. At that point, how many chances are you going to give the bulls? If this was an employee and is supposed to be performing to the standards you have set and is not doing that, then you need to get rid of the employee. So, the trade is your employee, you're the boss. It's not doing what you want it to do, then, you can manage it properly. So you cut your losses, you can, whatever you have to do. Anyway, so we made a lower high. After we made the low high, you can draw a new trend line. So a new trend line has developed. The market is dynamic, it's always changing. Nothing is ever guaranteed, and nothing stays the same. So yes, it was looking bullish. Obviously, in hindsight, it was looking very bullish, right? But who knew it was going to stop at 460? I mean, there was some minor resistance here, but it looked pretty good for higher prices. And then obviously it failed. Market's not trying to go up. Now you need to switch gears. Made a lower high, and then it came back to the 360 level. So this is what we were looking at yesterday. Price hit the 360 level, but it had it just bounced from it, which is, expected. You don't expect price to just ignore price levels. Sometimes that does happen, but typically, you'll see price test it. So we did test it, but it was still bearish. Why? Because we were still below this trend line right here. So there was a steeper trend line in play. So you see that if you go on like a lower time frame, it'll be more obvious. So you see that on the 1 hour time frame, there's this nice trend line in play, and we just hit that today and trended down lower. So basically, you are fighting against the context of the market not being that bullish. So the market tried multiple attempts to reach the measuring target, failed. We came back to prior support and saw smaller bounces from it historically. We are below the trend lines. We're below the EMA. This is getting a very drawn out uptrend. It's not supposed to be going sideways for this long. Instead of being accumulation, it's turning into like what's the word? Um, I don't know the exact word. Basically, instead of accumulation, I think it's called like distribution or something like that, or um, it's the opposite. You don't want price to be like stalling out in a trend like this. This is different from what we're getting right now. So this is like like a trend reversal sign. This is a bunch of trend reversal signs, but this is a combination of two. We had a blow off top followed by a long drawn out consolidation, and we had that opportunity to rally here, but it failed, and that was basically a very bad sign. And then right about here, I'd say mid-August was basically the nail in the coffin that yes, we're not going up higher anytime soon, and most likely we're going to be expecting downside. So we did drop down lower. A lot of shorts entered the market. A lot of long stop losses were hit. A lot of people probably got out at 360. That was the line in the sand, and then it added fuel to the fire, and we dropped down lower. Now, what happens from here, right? It happened. It happened. Now, what do we do from here? Well, I don't think it's over. So I don't think we see another big red day as today, but I don't think it's over yet. We have one leg down right here, cycling down. The bears are attempting to reach their measurement target of about 321. 321, 322 is where we'll probably see a bounce from, and then that could probably go back up to the lower side of the range, and then we'll see what happens. And let's see even if we do get the bounce. We need to break this trend line right here, this downward sloping trend line. So I'm expecting a little bit more downward price action and then a bounce right around the 320 level. And depending on how hard we bounce will tell me if we're going to reverse or we're just going to correct up for another large leg down. There's a lot of traders who entered at lower prices and they do not want to hold, in a hold drawdown. So they'll be also getting out of their position. So there's also another thing on the chart that people are not aware about is that we can be in formation of a very large leg down, one leg down right here. If you bring this over, this is targeting right around the 145 level. It became in play once we invalidate the bullish trend. So this is basically one leg down right here. This is all just a correction for a second leg down. So it's targeting 145 by late October, early November, and that's basically when the next earnings report will take place. So it is bearish until proven otherwise. Me personally, I'm not hopping back in until we see a break of this trend line right here at a minimum. And at this point, we need to get back above the 360 and probably hold it as support. So basically, it's going to probably be a while before I really trust the bulls on this one. So, I don't like what I see on the chart. It's not bullish until proven otherwise. But basically, anybody who's calling for no more bear markets in MSTR, no more bear markets in Bitcoin, it's not going to be what do they say, cold winter or something like that, or something winter. Some ridiculous comment that markets don't have Bitcoin is not going to have any bear markets. Bitcoin is still a very small market cap, related to gold. Gold is what 10 times larger, and gold is going to have bear markets as well. So what makes you think Bitcoin is not going to have bear markets? See, Michael Saylor and Strategy, they should have hired a professional trader, someone better than me. I'm not a professional trader, but I'm someone who actually can really read a chart and actually give them advice, telling them do not buy Bitcoin over $100,000. Better off to just sit on the cash you have. All your preferreds now are sinking, and if you're going to be tapping the ATM on those, you're going to even make the situation even worse because Bitcoin is dropping as well. So basically, I wouldn't say they're over leveraged, but they're kind of in a stuck place now because with Bitcoin dropping and them aggressively acquiring this much Bitcoin while also releasing all these new, preferreds at a very close, duration, it could put them in a tough position. So that thing that the market understands that the market is, usually one step ahead of us, and they already kind of calculated that in that, hey, like if we start a Bitcoin bear market, how is MSTR going to be paying off those dividends or yields in the preferreds? And the MNAV is going to be compressing down lower. So it's going to be putting them in a bad position as of right now. So, the market knows what's going on, and they could be wrong, but as of right now, it looks like the market's calculated that in. So Michael Saylor, he doesn't know everything. He is a genius, but he does not know how the markets work. If he knew it, he probably would have hired a professional trader, tell him this is the most ideal place to buy, and this is the most ideal place to not buy anymore until you see a pullback. So they probably bought too much, right? I mean, yeah, they think about long term, so it doesn't really matter, like 10, 20 years, but Even Michael Saylor, he does not know everything about the market. And people who do not understand the market or do not understand the realities of the market are going to get humbled, as you can see today. So anybody who is saying buy the dip, um, you're going to be buying a lot of dips. Basically, that's what I think, right? You're going to be buying a lot of dips, from what I see on the chart. Things can change, and I'm not 100% rooted in anything. If we bounce here, like I said, let's see how strong the bounce is. But other than that, I mean, we have for the bulls, they have a huge mountain to climb here. They have to break the trend lines. They have to get above 360. Um, it doesn't look that good as of right now. Bitcoin also dropping down lower. Bitcoin is in a little bit more a bullish case than MSTR. It did break this trend line right here, which is not a good sign. We had one large leg up right here. Correction. First attempt higher, failed. Second attempt higher, failed. Double top, large sell-off. Broke the bullish trend line. So this one is basically targeting right around the 112. Most likely you guys are going to break it. There's probably a lot of longs who put their stop losses here, who are trailing the stop. Let's say you entered here, you trail the stops, trail the stop, trail the stop. So they'll probably get out right here. So there's probably going to be a decent move down, probably once we hit the 112 level into the 111s. That's what I'm assuming. But overall, it looks like a big correction is coming. If you look at the macro for this commodity, Bitcoin, looks like we probably hit the top side of a channel. So you could draw some sort of channel in play. I think it's better on the log scale, or let me take a look. This one right here. Maybe on the log scale. Let's take a look at the log scale. Let's go to the weekly. And yes, we do have this nice trend up. As you can see here, let me draw the trend line. This is the trend line right here. So quite a bit of ways down to the trend line or the channel. Looks like we're having a hard time getting through that midline of the channel, and quite a bit of ways down. I would not be surprised to see a decent sized drop here, maybe sub 100,000 for Bitcoin. But as right now, it is approaching support. But is that going to reverse price or not? This is a micro support. It's really not that strong at 112. The stronger support is probably right around 100, 102. That's where more of the touches are, 1, 2, 3. So there's more strong support here. So let's see what happens. But I'm not expecting price to just give up right now and reverse higher. It doesn't seem likely. What also can happen is obviously a sideways trading range. So obviously we can do three things: go up, down, or sideways. But what is more probable? I think a little bit lower prices, and then we'll see what happens at this 112 level. But we could also trade sideways. But Bitcoin also bearish. And last but not least, the Bitcoin price versus MSTR's price gives you this ratio of 336. And you can see that Bitcoin is starting to outperform MSTR, even though it's technically not outperforming, in the upward motion, upward direction, but it is still holding off better in the sell-off. And as you can see here, what this means is that price had the opportunity at 320 to for MSTR to start outperforming BTC, or at least not sell off as hard, but it failed. Now it looks like we're breaking out higher. So it looks like it's headed for this peak, which is at 366, and potentially this large measuring target right here. One leg up right here, and then you drag this over, second leg up, and that takes you to 431. So that can lead to a huge divergence between Bitcoin and MSTR if we get to 431. That might put MSTR in like sub 300, I would say, maybe even lower. So it looks like Bitcoin is going to continue to outperform MSTR in this sell-off that we're currently seeing. Me personally, MSTR does look a little toppy, meaning we probably have seen the top, unfortunately. But Bitcoin, there's probably still another leg left in this trend. So we'll see what happens for Bitcoin. It only dropped what? People are like scared it dropped what? 8%? I mean, you weren't scared when it dropped this much right here at 30%. So let's say we do see another 30% drop. That takes you right about 86,000. Takes you back to here, but it shouldn't get down that low. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but it probably shouldn't do that. And we'll see what happens. But Bitcoin looking still bearish. We're seeing an outperformance in Bitcoin compared to MSTR, even though it's technically not even an outperformance. It's just MSTR collapsing. And MSTR just not looking bullish at all. It looks very, very similar to the other top in 2021. So let me see if I can zoom out, or we can go on the weekly chart and then take a look at the log scale. It looks very similar to that top pattern. Even though I was hoping it was not doing that, and we had the opportunity to not do it, but it did start disrespecting the trend line. So this is the regular scale. You see that this is the primary trend line right here. It's kind of trading at right around, if we get there tomorrow, it would be like 257. If it takes a couple more weeks, like the 270s. And then we started breaking this secondary trend line, which is not a good sign either. We back tested for resistance, sold off. So basically, yeah, it looks exactly very similar to the peak back over here in 2021. We had a massive run up, overextended. So we had a massive run up right here. Again, same thing, overextended. 2 legs down. Same thing right here. 2 legs down. Another move up higher, failed attempt, a double top, and then a sell off. Move up higher, failed attempt, double top, and then a sell off. So it looks very similar to what happened previously. As you can see, repeat patterns do happen in the market. So MSTR, we'll see what happens. I would say people need to be cautious of what's going on. Me personally, I'm not going to jump in. This is definitely looking appealing to me because I still believe it will get to $4,000 is not invalidated yet. Yes, I was saying $4,000 this cycle or next cycle, but it technically still is not invalidated. It would be only invalidated if we break below 13.50. So are we going to get below $13.50? Probably not. So that is still in play as long as we don't get below 13.50. This is all one leg up right here. The second leg up starts at 13.50, targeting right around that $4,000 level. So this is all the first attempt right here. And if that fails, maybe the next cycle will take us up, something like this. So yes, it would take a lot longer, but it's still not invalidated technically. But we'll see what happens for MSTR in the future. But that's all I have for MSTR. Basically, expect more downside. It's not bullish until proven otherwise, and I still think it's not looking good as of right now. So all I have for MSTR and Bitcoin on the daily and weekly charts. This is Vee Trades, and thank you for your time.